Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Tea Time. It's the time to play amazing video games, and today's amazing video game that I want to talk about is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, specifically the ending and what it means for the larger story as a whole. As such, this video from here on out is going to be laden with spoilers, so be warned. If you're not up to speed with how the remake ends, or if you're unfamiliar with the original Final Fantasy VII or Crisis Core storylines, it may be wise to turn back now. You've been warned. And with that said, I should also point out that this video assumes you're at least vaguely aware of the existing theories floating around regarding the ending. Folks at places like IGN have done a great job piecing together their theories on explaining the ending, and I highly recommend you give those a watch as well. So, without further ado, let's dig into this theory about the events at the end of the Final Fantasy VII Remake and their ramifications on the remainder of the story.
You okay?
To start with, I think we all agree that the inclusion of the Whispers as the Arbiters of Fate was a clever way to symbolically inform the player that what they think they know about the events of Final Fantasy VII were on the table to be rewritten from here on out. In fact, the visions of the future that we immediately recognized as upcoming events based on the original game are qualified only as the future quote-unquote if we fail here today, as Red mentions during one of the game's final battles.
Glimpse of tomorrow if we fail here today.
What's less clear is the sequence of events that were shown in parallel to this battle, sequences that fans of the Crisis Core spin-off PSP game will be intimately familiar with. These events depict Zack Fair's last battle against a massive squad of Shinra soldiers, a battle he's actually destined to lose based on the events of the original Crisis Core game.
Protect your honor. As a soldier! Come and get it!
As Cloud and the gang in Midgar battle Destiny itself, we see Zack surviving his doomed fight against the Shinra forces. Seemingly unaware of the swarm of Whispers surrounding Midgar behind him, it's made clear that the actions of the team in Midgar is having an effect here, wherever here may be. And that's exactly what I want to dive into. Where and how exactly is Zack alive? The reveal of Zack's survival is accompanied by a peculiar snack bag featuring a new version of the corporate mascot, Stamp. Stamp's altered appearance has led many to believe that Zack's survival is the result of some sort of alternate timeline or universe. However, hints dropped not only by Aerith, but by Sephiroth and even Barrett lead me to believe that this is not the case, and that Zack's survival takes place in the same universe or timeline that us, as the player, are experiencing throughout the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The battle against Destiny not only puts the events to come in jeopardy, but also calls into question all of the events that have gotten us to this point. To put it plainly, destroying the Harbinger of Fate has consequences not just in the future, but in the past as well, and there's evidence to support this. Let's start with Aerith. Before the gang enters what Aerith refers to as Destiny's Crossroads, she offers Cloud a very specific warning. Proceeding from here on out, she says, we'll not only change Destiny, but we'll be changing ourselves as well.
If we succeed, if we win, we'll be changing ourselves. I guess maybe that's why I hesitated.
This means that the events and history of these characters that have made them who they are can potentially be altered once they complete their mission, hinting that history itself can be rewritten. Sephiroth is arguably even more forward with this suggestion. When we see him in Cloud's vision following the reactor explosion, he references Cloud's past and the Nibelheim incident as history that binds them together and would be no more should Cloud continue his pursuit.
That which binds us together would be no more, and I would be loath to live in such a world.
Furthermore, before facing the fight with Destiny, Sephiroth suggests that the world will be unmade, a term distinctly indicating that history as we know it will be unwritten.
Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
The world won't end today. But you
Barrett and his experience with the Whispers seems to offer proof that past events, no matter how grave, can be reversed. We see evidence of this when Barrett's fatal wound from Sephiroth is seemingly undone by the Whispers themselves, directly linking them as an entity to the ability to rewrite events that have already occurred.
Barrett, are you hurt?
Don't think so.
So where does this leave us with Zack and his alternate stamp-donning snack bag? Simply put, Zack's fate has been rewritten thanks to the events that transpired in present-day Midgar. There are no alternate timelines, and Zack isn't just sort of alive. History itself has been altered, and Zack's heroic death at the hands of the Shinra onslaught is just simply no more. The errant snack bag we get a peek at in the end isn't indicative of an alternate reality, but rather a symbol that the same reality we've been experiencing throughout the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been rewritten. In fact, if we look at it a little bit deeper, I think this newfangled stamp dog is more symbolically linked to what kind of impact we can expect this revelation to have on Cloud as a character. Throughout the story, characters like Barrett have made a clear association between Stamp, the loyal companion co-opted by a heartless corporation, and Cloud, the loyal soldier turned mercenary, embroiled in an ironic quest to take down his former master.
Are you? Stamp scared to bite the hand that fed him? Or is he a loyal little doggy? Have it your way, Mutt. We can do this with you, or we can do this without you.
Fans of the Final Fantasy VII lore recognize how big of an impact Zack's life and death had on Cloud. For him to have survived that encounter with Shinra, and for Zack and Cloud to have arrived in Midgar together, should dramatically redefine who Cloud fundamentally is as a person. And that applies to the events of the rest of the game as well. While some of the ending scenes seem to suggest that recent history is unaltered after the fight with Destiny, there are others that are more debatable. Case in point, Biggs is alive and well, or at least well enough to be recovering safely in what looks to be Sector 5, and while Jessie isn't pictured during the final scenes, could this also suggest that she may have survived the Sector 7 plate collapse? Speaking of that, can we be certain that the plate even collapsed now? Let's take another look at those ending scenes again. One of these images depicts a group looking in Sector 5 up at a partially constructed plate. Compare this with the same perspective from Chapter 14, immediately following the Sector 7 plate collapse. You'll take a look. The plate above Sector 7 is completely missing directly following its collapse. However, after the fight with Destiny, it seems completely restored. There's no way that thing got rebuilt before Biggs recovered from his wounds. It's just something to think about in terms of the events of the Final Fantasy VII Remake and how open they are to changing when we head into the next installment. Of course, plenty of questions remain, such as what the hell Sephiroth is talking about when he mentions Cloud's 7-second window until the end. And with so much potential here, I just want to know what you think. What are those 7 seconds even referring to? How many timelines are we working with here? And does this history Cloud and Sephiroth share stay the same going into the next installment of the game? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Are there any other Final Fantasy VII Remake theories you want us to explore? Also, feel free to check out our other gameplay videos, and we'll see you all on the next Tea Time.